Welcome back. Let's get started. What's up, you guys? It's Toby. I'm here to talk about the cons of travel nursing. So, I know everyone's been talking about travel nursing lately and how amazing it is and how much you get paid and how you just go wherever you want, explore the country and all this hype information. But I realized no one's really talking about what are the cons, what are the challenges that can happen with travel nursing. So I decided to make a video and explain my viewpoint at least. Let's get started. So in about a week or two, I'll also post another video called The Pros of Travel Nursing. And then I'll list everything about how good it is, how much money you get paid, and all the hype information for that. So then with the pros of travel nursing and the cons of travel nursing, you guys can use those videos to help compare and decide if travel nursing is right for you. Okay, so the first con, just no particular order or anything, but the first con in my opinion is travel nursing is lonely. Let's be real. On your days off, when you're not at work, you're not surrounded by anyone, you're at home in the place you're renting or a place in a hotel, and there's no one you know in the whole entire state. So literally you do, until you find like a buddy or something, you do everything by yourself. You go to the restaurants by yourself, you go hiking by yourself, you go to museums, you go like just anything. So at times I could get lonely, then you get homesick, but you just gotta understand that that's what comes to the territory. So that's what travel nursing is about. You just go out, venture on your own, go to new places. Unless you have someone that you already know in the area, you're just gonna be lonely at times. And you really just have to discover yourself, because the only way to fight loneliness is by really just being comfortable with yourself. Okay, so the next con is that in order to get paid, like how everyone's saying they get paid, you have to find your own housing. So that means you either have to find like an Airbnb, a hotel, or just like a room for rent in someone else's place so that you could get that tax-free stipend and then capitalize on whatever's left over. The only thing is with having to find your own housing, it's a lot more difficult and you really don't know where you're gonna end up. And then to add to that fact is that the hospital can cancel you at any time. So if you could have paid like a deposit and then like 3 months rent in advance, and then day 2 of working in the hospital, they cancel you. So you lose out on a lot of money, which is why they usually recommend you have about 1 to 3 months of savings before you start travel nursing, because I've seen and I've heard a lot of nurses just lose out on money and having to like use their credit cards just to make ends meet till they get their travel pay. Okay, so the next con after that is that you really have to be a proficient and experienced nurse to travel nurse, because orientation days, you know how it's like usually like 30 to 60 days? Nope. As a travel nurse, you get 2 or less days. Sometimes you don't even have orientation because they need you that bad. They just throw you out on the floor and you're just expected to know what to do because obviously you've been a nurse already. So that's one of the huge cons that like some people who really just want to get into travel nursing like out of nursing school, they just don't realize. Okay, so this con is a con that not really anyone talks about, but it's a huge con. Like everyone complains about this as a travel nurse. And this is that the fact that with each assignment, and even with the travel company that you go to, you have to complete so many computer modules, or whatever, if you call it health streams, or just online training that you have to do with each assignment, each travel company that you go to. And these classes and online training takes up to 16 to 48 hours for some people. Can you imagine doing that every single time? If you're not a person who doesn't like doing online tests, having to test for like EKGs, testing for like medications and everything, the patient safety rights and all of that jazz, this is not for you, because doing that is tedious, man. And a lot of the times with these assignments, you don't even get paid for the health streams. They just tell you to do it before you show up on the assignment. So imagine doing all of that work, 16 to 48 hours, showing up to the assignment, 2 days later they cancel you. Like, come on. I would be mad. I don't even know. I can't. Okay, so I know how some of you guys have little quirks and stuff about how you want your schedule to be, but as a travel nurse, a lot of the times you don't even get any say with how your schedule is. So the hospital can schedule you 3 on, 3 off, 3 in a row, and you hate 3 in a rows, but that's what they do. Or if you work nights, they want to be like, you know what, we need you here, one day on, one day off, one day on, one day off. And that's where our biggest need is. That's what they'll do. I mean, when they pay you the big bucks, you don't really ask questions. You just do what they say because that's what you're here for. You're not really here to say, I want a week off so I can go on a vacation in like some national park. You're here to fill a need and just work your job. A lot of times this also means that you're scheduled on all the holidays. So if your contract falls on like Christmas and Thanksgiving, you best believe you're gonna work Christmas, Thanksgiving. Your family's gonna be at the hospital for those 2 holidays. As a travel nurse, you just gotta make those sacrifices. And because they do that a lot of the times because they want the staff nurse to finally get a day off to celebrate with their families as well. I mean, we all know we have families, but it's just the life as a travel nurse. This is not really a con, but if you don't do this right, it becomes a huge issue. So basically, you need to find a permanent, you don't even need to find it, you need to have a permanent tax home before you start traveling. So what this means is that before you start traveling, you have a place that you're maintaining a residence still while you're in a different state or area that you travel to, and you're renting the place over there. You still have to be paying a place back home where you like live legally to get that tax-free stipend. If you don't do all that, by the end of the year, just you wait, Uncle Sam's gonna be knocking on that door asking for his money. If you think I'm joking, best believe there's a lot of nurses who by the end of the tax season, they say they owe Uncle Sam thousands, not even thousands, 10,000s of dollars because they maintain a permanent tax home. So once tax returns came in, they had to get all that untaxed stipend that they had earlier into actual taxable income. So man, if you don't do that right, that's a huge con. So if you really thought that all that money you're gonna get was supposed to be saved up and you just pay for one residence, you're wrong. You need to pay for 2. So this isn't really even a con, but if you're a lazy bum like me, this is actually kind of an issue at times. So basically, with each assignment, it lasts about, let's say 3 months. 3 months is over, you have to fly or drive back home. So with each time that you have to fly or drive back home, you have to pack all your stuff and then send it back. And then once your new contract comes up, you have to pack all your stuff again and then drive or fly to your new place. And honestly, if you're like me, you do things last minute, and trying to pack everything last minute on the day that you're supposed to leave is extremely stressful. So, I mean, this doesn't really apply to a lot of people, but I just want to throw that out there as a con. So this is the last con I'm going to be talking about. This con is that at hospitals, a lot of the times, I mean, there are some like amazing like travel-friendly hospitals that don't do this, but a lot of the hospitals give travelers a tough assignments. So tough assignments don't always mean the medically complex patients that have like a ton of drips going on or like tubes coming out of them. This could also mean that like total care patients, so bed-bound, paralyzed, paraplegic, amputees. They could be on restraints. They could be the violent ones that the nurses don't want to take care of, or just the really rude ones that, every time they come back to the hospital, it's always going to just stress you out to take care of them. So as a traveler, you just really have to expect that, and you always have to be on your A game because you want to keep your license in check, and you just want to make sure you want to make it through the end of your contract and not hate your life. So, I mean, that's the last con. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. But like I said, in a week or 2, I will post the pros of travel nursing, which will be way better talking about than the cons. So I'll see you later.